In today's episode, I'm going to share with you 7 ways to overcome any weight loss plateau. If you're listening to this and you are currently struggling with your weight management, struggling to drop fat, simply put, look the way you want to, or maybe habitually the last few years or longer, you've always struggled with your body weight, then in this episode I'm going to share with you 7 things to focus on that I categorically know would help you overcome any challenge, barrier or roadblock in pursuit of your ideal body weight. It's exactly what I would do, my team would do with any clients who come to us to say they're not dropping weight, not dropping fat, which happens at any point, at certain points, of a transformation journey. There is always a solution. So many times people say to themselves, I'm doing everything, but I just can't drop weight and I don't know why. The harsh reality is you're not doing everything, otherwise you would be dropping weight. I'm yet to coach anybody who, when they've done these things, hasn't dropped weight, dropped fat, and progressed. The most important thing you need to do when you hit a plateau is to remove any unpredictability, moving you towards that ideal body weight and body composition you want, and go back to basics. A lot of people look for the shiny objects, the magic workout, the magic pill, the magic food, instead of just going back to basics. I'm sure if you listen to this as a business owner, entrepreneur, or someone who has achieved a great level of status or a certain position within a company, you would have applied similar principles when you hit a barrier with your career, with your profits, with your financial targets, with team. You would have evaluated what's going well and why, what's not going well, where are my expenses, where are my inputs, how effective is each person or system within my business in pursuit of your targets. And if you weren't happy with the answers with that evaluation of each person, system, you would do something differently to move you forward. And as I've said many times on previous podcasts, if you've done it in business and you've done it in your career and you have evidence that if you hit a challenge, that asking yourself the right question has helped you overcome that challenge, you can certainly do it with your body weight. Now, a lot of the things I'm going to go through across the 7 I've probably covered in different podcasts across different episodes, but I just wanted to make this episode a really simple, straightforward, technically 7-step checklist to help you overcome any weight loss plateau. Number 1, weigh yourself every single day on an empty stomach. If you're a regular listener to this podcast, then you probably heard this over and over again, and it might sound like a bit like a broken record, but trust me, and this drives me fucking crazy when people moan about their body weight, and then I ask them, how often do you weigh yourself? And they're like, oh, I don't. Or I weigh myself every couple of weeks, or I weigh myself on a Saturday. Your weight on the scales can fluctuate so many times for so many different reasons, it's untrue. But if walking around at a particular body weight or particular body weight range is important to you, then the number 1 stat we need to keep a pulse check on is weighing yourself on an empty stomach. It will keep you ruthlessly accountable to that number that you are striving towards. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, but over a week-to-week, month-to-month period, if it is not going down, then when you reverse engineer that, you're eating too much or not moving enough. It's that simple. There is nothing magic with body weight. A lot of people are like, I'm doing everything right, I'm training hard, I'm moving well, eating well. If your body weight's going up or it's not dropping, you're not eating as well as what you think you are, and you're probably not moving as much as what you think you are, and you're probably not training as hard as you think you do. okay? But the first thing I would do is weigh yourself every single day, because you are going to be far more aware of the food you put in your mouth afterwards. Number 2, you're probably not going to want to do this if you're carrying a lot more body weight than what you want, but I would take pictures and or videos of everything you eat. Literally everything. The amount of times in my coaching career that a client has said, I'm sticking to the plan, I'm sticking to my calories, I'm getting all my protein in, I'm eating well. And then we magnify the actual food, snacks, drinks, liquids, basically anything that has calories in. When we've magnified that across a 7-day period, not missed a snack, not missed a meal, and I visually saw everything that client has put in their mouth, it is outstanding the difference of how much better that client eats when they are having to hold themselves accountable with pictures and videos of their foods as and when they're eating it, or they send it to us in one batch, whatever suits them. Because you might be listening to this having stuck to a certain diet plan for an extended period of time, track your calories, tried so many different things, but having coached for so many years, so many people sort of track their calories. So many people sort of stick to a diet plan. So many people sort of be strict and disciplined. But as I said to one of our clients last week, you can be eating really well for Monday to Thursday, Monday to Friday, and you think, God, I'm sticking to my diet plan. But if that 1 to 2 days where you have a little bit of relaxation is too relaxed, and you're over-consuming a lot more calories than what you think, then I guarantee that will be the thing that is probably preventing you from dropping body weight. Whereas if you can literally just take pictures of everything you eat, you can then, at the end of a week, look back at the food, look at your pictures, look at your videos, and look at it with logic and say to yourself, based on the food, snacks, drinks, or both that I've consumed in the past week, where is it pretty obvious that I'm overeating, over snacking, or I'm eating probably too many things that consume a lot of calories for a small amount of food volume, and how can I easily eat less of it, remove it, or replace it? But if you are seeing everything you eat, I cannot tell you how much more accountable that's going to make you, even if it's for a short period, with your food management. Number 3 is, and we do this heavily with clients, myself in particular, the clients that I'm a lot more hands-on with, I would ask them to take videos of all of their hard work sets from every single lifting session. Because there have been periods where we've worked with clients where they're eating well, they're getting the steps in, sleeping well, drinking the water, but they're still scratching their head going, I'm not changing, or I'm not as lean as I want to be. I'm just not where I want to be. So often it's because that client is not training hard enough. And I know, even from my own personal experience, when I want to inject even more intensity into my workout, which by default creates more energy out. And if you create more energy out, guess what? You're more likely to create an energy deficit. I will film myself filming every work set. When you are having to look back at how you've trained with your technique, your intensity, your effort, it is a massive thing that will help you push a lot harder than not doing it. I'm not saying you have to do this forever. Remember, this episode is all about helping you push through a plateau. And so often it's the 5 to 10% differences with your movement, your food, your training that make the difference in going from a certain body weight, a certain body composition to that next level. And particularly when we are at the start phase with any client, or maybe even a couple of months in, and they might have got a little bit complacent, so often the thing that is holding them back is they're simply not training hard enough. as I've said many times before, food is important, steps are important, but food doesn't lift the weight. So when people say that abs are made in the kitchen, to a small degree, but the food isn't going to lift the weights for you. Push hard and show up to the gym every day. And good nutrition and steps will only take you so far. That might bring weight down to some degree. It might make you feel a little bit fitter, help with mood, but you're never going to build a really strong, lean physique without lifting weights, okay? And I just think that, as I've said many times before in previous episodes, one of the most sustainable ways to get and stay in shape and stay lean and hover around that ideal body weight you want is to train your way into shape, not starve your way into shape. I just think the calorie allowance that your body would be able to handle as a result of training hard and with plenty of volume would be significantly higher than someone whose training volume and training intent is significantly lower. If you have two people with the same genetics, say we had twins to work with, for example, and they both walk the same, eat the same, but one twin is training really hard and the other one isn't, guess who's going to be able to eat more food whilst dropping body fat and dropping weight? It's the person training harder. So take videos of every lifting session if you're ever stuck with your body comp and your body weight. Number 4, measure daily movement in greater detail. So we had a client a couple of weeks ago who, a bit like myself, doesn't wear Apple Watch, doesn't wear Garmin watch, doesn't track his steps with 100% accuracy, because it's hard to do that, of course, if you haven't got a watch on. He's a bit like me, he tracks his steps on his phone. So if you are doing that, then of course you're not going to be 100% accurate, because you're not going to have your phone on you every minute of the day. So with this client concerned, who was feeling like the body fat could have come off a little bit quicker, I evaluated his training, pretty good. Food, pretty good. Then I said to him, what was your weekly step target the last 2 weeks, the average weekly step target the last 2 weeks? And he said, I think it's around 7. I think. Now, if you listen to this as a business owner or entrepreneur and you weren't hitting a certain number or you didn't hit a certain target, I'm pretty sure if you said to yourself, I think it's because of not enough marketing, not enough sales, whatever it may be, you would take the thinking out of the equation. You would break down what can you actually do that is going to give you more accurate data in pursuit of the target you're pursuing or the outcome you want. So in relation to movement, just as I said to this client, I said to him, just really brutally, honestly, as we think this is the one thing that's currently holding you back from probably pushing on with your fat loss a little bit more, weight loss a little bit more, then we need to create a bit more predictability with your step targets. So I'll just break it down logically. If this client isn't willing to invest in an Apple Watch or a Garmin, so we have that predictable data, I'm like, you need to make sure that at any point you're moving, that phone is with you in your pocket. Don't necessarily need to hold it or look at it, but it needs to be with you so we've got more accurate data. Or what you can do is just look at the previous 7 days at the end of each week. If you are someone like me who looks at your health app on your phone and just look at what your total week steps were on that, even with putting it down here and there, and just make sure that it is significantly higher the following week. As one of the key things that's going to allow you to make your fat loss and weight loss journey easier is walking more. You're carrying your body weight around more. You can have the greatest sessions in the world, eating great food, but if you're sat down and stagnant for hours and hours and hours, then you're really going to struggle to drop body weight. as I said to him, I'm yet to coach anybody in probably 16 years of coaching who has dropped fat and weight really quickly whilst doing less than 10,000 steps average a day. If your steps are 6,000 to 8,000 a day average or less, you're going to find it extremely hard to drop weight quickly. So as an absolute minimum across a week, and this can be inclusive of cardio and jogs and things like that, as I said to this client, I'd aim for a minimum 70k steps. But at that point, I would just measure my daily movement in greater detail. Okay? Many people, they don't at weekends, just like with food. Number 5, and you'll notice what I'm doing here, I'm talking about the core drivers, going back to basics with the core drivers. The next one is water. To remove any unpredictability of potentially holding water and just a really basic input that a lot of people miss when it comes to weight loss. I would drink 3 times 1.5 litres of water per day. And for some people, they might think, God, I've got 4.5 litres of water, that's a lot. But a lot of the time, people who struggle with their weight, they're not properly hydrated, especially if you're training. Even if someone wasn't training, I would recommend to drink 2.5 to 3 litres of water a day. If you're training hard and you're moving regularly and you want to maintain, cognitive function and be sharp mentally, you should be drinking at least 3 litres a day, in my opinion. But I would drink 3 times 1.5 litres of water. Literally, I wouldn't end a day without not having finished 1.5 litres of water. Number 6, again, a lot of people won't want to do this. If I was really trying to overcome a weight loss plateau, I would make sure that any client we work with would take pictures more regularly of their physique. Why? It's going to keep them more accountable. And if you're not happy with your weight, usually you're not happy with how you look alongside that. So if you are then weighing yourself every day and taking pictures of your physique at least twice a week, and I recommend doing it on a Friday or a Saturday at the end of a week and on a Monday at the start of a week, then if you know you are having to stare yourself in the face and evaluate how you look before a weekend or at the start of a weekend and after a weekend, I guarantee you're going to eat better and you're going to keep your habits in check at the weekend a lot better than maybe what you're currently doing. As I said, when you're trying to overcome a weight loss plateau, you're trying to create as much predictability as possible with the outcome you want. And for many people who are heavier than what they want and bloated, feeling sluggish, simply put, fat, they eat too much at the weekend and they go missing with the habits, the good habits they've created Monday to Friday at weekends. So I would take pictures start of a weekend and on a Monday and watch how much better you eat and manage you across the weekend period. Then the last one, this is more to do with mindset. If you are someone who is continually telling yourself that you struggle with your weight, you're too heavy, you don't like your body weight, evaluate how committed you actually are to losing weight. I think one of the most disempowering things you can do is say to yourself and others, I want to lose weight, or I'm going to lose weight, and then sort of dip your toe in the commitment required to make that happen. You lose confidence rapidly when you say you're going to do something and then not follow through. So how I would evaluate how committed you actually are to losing weight, I'd evaluate my weekly calendar. And as I've said many times to clients, and we remind all of our group on a week-to-week basis, does your calendar, whether you do it on your phone or in a journal, demonstrate you are committed to a healthy, strong body, lean, or does it demonstrate that you are not committed to a healthy, strong body? Because as I've said many times before, your priorities aren't revealed by what they say they are. they're revealed by what you do. And for many people, what you do is dictated by how you plan and the weekly calendar that you have. And then a couple of the other really good things that really help you identify how disciplined you are and how much personal responsibility you take when it comes to managing your weight and managing you is really asking yourself, in relation to the expectations that I want with my weight and my body, is my current lifestyle management likely to make that happen? Is your environment, your daily actions, the way you're living likely to meet your expectation of how you want to look and the body weight you want? Because we can all say, I want to be 5 kilograms less, 2 kilograms less, 30 pounds less, whatever it is. But the way you're currently living, the choices you make, and the environment that is dictating your behavior is either going to make that happen or it's going to contradict that outcome you want. So if you can't hand on heart say that your current level of commitment, your current lifestyle is likely to bring that weight down, create that body shape you want, something has to change. You have to make sure that how you live and the body you want and the body shape you want is meeting your expectations, is likely to meet your expectations. And lastly, and this ties in with commitment, so this isn't a point, but I think a lot of people who struggle with their weight, I've had so many clients to really give me authority to say this with a lot of certainty. It comes down to the words that person is saying to themselves or has habitually said to themselves and others. The amount of people over the years who have just conditioned themselves as someone who is a big lad or a big girl or always struggle with my weight is staggering. The more times you've said to yourself, I really struggle with my weight, I'm a big lad, I'm fat, I just can't lose weight, the more times you say that over and over again, you are going to make that statement and make those words right eventually. Remember, our beliefs and our words shape our reality. So if you are someone who uses disempowering language, negative language, and the words that you continually say is focusing on what you don't want instead of what you do want, then I really believe that is one of the first points you need to address before you start trying to find the optimal diet plan, movement plan, training plan. You need to really get clear in your mind, what is it you actually want? And are the words that you are currently saying to yourself, are they actually true? Have you actually done everything within your powers to try and change that belief or those words? And I think so many people haven't. So make sure your language and the words that come out your mouth are in line with the body weight and the body shape you want. And then if you implement those other things that I've said today, I guarantee you will overcome any weight loss plateau. Because when your mindset is focused on what you want, the body shape you want, and you're training with full intent, you're managing your food across 7 days and not just 5 days, you're moving regularly, drinking your water, it is absolutely impossible to not drop weight if that's your goal. But just so many people cut corners and they do things at 60, 70, 80% instead of actually seeing it through and being fully committed, being fully all in and taking responsibility for the inputs that create the output they want. Okay? It's not complicated. Contrary to some of the bullshit you see on social media, if you are doing the right things for long enough and have patience, I haven't really touched on that, and just have patience and perseverance, you will change. We have enough evidence with all the clients we've worked with, who've worked with multiple personal trainers, many have worked with online trainers too, that once they have genuine structure and they have a genuine awareness and greater attention to detail on the inputs needed to create a body weight and shape they want, anybody can change. It's never too late. Doesn't matter how many times you've failed, you can create predictability, far more predictability, in my opinion, with health, fitness, and body than you can with business, because you are in total control of everything that I've just covered today. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.